In this day and age, we have so many options for phones, from manufacturers to their models. You have a plethora of options. Of course, there's some good, some not so good, some straight up awful. So, how do you navigate that and get the best device for your money? With all these options, we're going to have to narrow them down to what you want and can attain. First factor to help is budget. No need to explain why that's a factor, of course. Second, being which range of device. Third, being manufacturer. Let's look at range first. Generally, I recommend flagship devices here. They are the best offering you can get from any manufacturer in terms of speed, features, specs, usability, and longevity. It's the manufacturer's best foot forward. But of course, the cost of those devices reflect that. That's why a lot of people don't have flagships. They simply cannot afford those devices even on a cell phone contract. And to that, I have an answer, which is buying a predecessor released a few years ago from that point in time. So something like 1 to 3 years would be the sweet spot. Despite manufacturers releasing devices on a yearly basis, you of course don't have to buy what was released yesterday. Manufacturers would of course like that.
This is like common sense. The more GPUs you buy, the more money you save. That's right. The more GPUs you buy, the more money you save. Work with me here. The more you buy, the more you save. That's right. Work with me here. The more you buy, the more you save. This is not a complicated talk. There are only two messages I want to deliver today. One of them is the more you buy, the more you save. Okay. All right. There'll be a quiz at the end.
But there's no need. And I would even argue there's no push ultimately. Reason being, there's no substantial jump in performance from flagship to flagship. Not enough to make a predecessor irrelevant. The truth is, the vast majority of people would be happy with flagships from 2020, especially when most of them have only used mid-range to lower end devices. An older flagship would be a huge jump in performance and build quality for them. Plastic to aluminum has a noticeable difference in how good it feels. As for which manufacturer, you can decide that, so long as it's from a reputable manufacturer that you feel comfortable spending on. Features may also sway you one way or another, but overall, flagships and their equivalents are mostly equal in the important specs such as battery and CPU, so picking one over another won't leave you regretting your life decisions. Now, budget. This is of course the end all be all of your decisions, because money.
Hello, I like money.
For this, we can look at how much people are already spending on mid-ranges and low-enders, and look at flagships around the same price point as an alternative. For a low-end A24, you'll spend around 3.5, of which you can add just a bit more so that you can be able to get yourself a S10 Plus, which is a device I generally recommend to a lot of people, especially people who just want any phone that is better than what they currently have. It's a good all-rounder at that price point. Moving on to the A34 for 7,000 Rand. For this amount, you can get an S20 Ultra, which is a phone that I tried to push people toward because I just think it'll be a better overall device. It'll last longer in terms of relevance, and it'll definitely get you a good amount of performance going. I recommend it over the S10 because it'll definitely be way more relevant for a bit longer. The A74, now that device hasn't been released as I am busy recording this, so I'm going to use a speculative price range based on its predecessor and some online articles that I've seen. The range will be from 9,000 Rand all the way up to 12,000 Rand, of which that amount of money can easily get you an S21 Ultra, and with a bit more, you can get an S22 Ultra. At this rate, you have probably noticed that I've been talking about Samsung only devices, but I'm only using those devices as alternatives to your mid-range and lower-end devices. The same can be applied to its competitors. These prices are generally what the masses already spend on phones. And of course, you can choose equivalent flagships to Samsung and maybe possibly netting yourself a better deal in the process. What are my actual recommendations? For someone who just wants a good everyday workhorse, I think an S20 Ultra would definitely do you good, if not well. And for someone who's looking for something with a little more punch to it and a little more relevance, a little less older, an S21 Ultra is definitely best. Definitely best. Still relevant devices for the time, good for the price, of course. And if Samsung is not your jam, I encourage you to find alternative equivalents. Just be careful what you choose. As for where you can buy these devices, you again have a lot of options. There's new, there's used, and there's online. Online is what I used to compare prices for this video and is what I would go with. Sites with buyer protection will be your friend, but even still, I would recommend that you be careful when shopping online. The used market would be the most trickiest to buy a phone from, so you'll have to stay on your toes in that world. I'm even thinking of doing a whole dedicated video for buying phones in the used market. Anyway, so that's all from me. Thanks for watching, and bye.